Welcome, Dolphins fans, haters, and everyone in between to your favorite show discussing the greatest franchise in sports, the Miami Dolphins. This is the PhinsPod. My name is Moose, your host, and today we're looking at the positions of need for the Dolphins. With all their draft capital this season, Chris Grier and his staff are going to be looking to add talent across the roster. But exactly in what order of need should they be addressing these positions? So today, we're going to be looking at each position group and how badly and how desperately the Fins should be looking to address those positions. Without further ado, let's dive in.
It's a young football team, and when you look at what Grier has done, the general manager, and Flores, they have went out to try to find pieces that changes games. We saw the defense perform at an elite level, but if you add Kyle Pitts to this, it'll speed up Tua's maturation process, because we've lauded about his ability to place the football wherever it needs to be. And when you have a guy like Kyle Pitts, you really don't have to worry about placing it in the perfect spot. Just put it somewhere in the vicinity, and they become potent because he's more than a tight end. And I'm going to come up with some new name in order to deem a new position in the NFL for Kyle Pitts.
So at the time of this recording, the NFL draft is 2 weeks away. And of course, the pandemic has slowed down the usual hype due to the lack of media-obsessed pro days, interviews with top prospects, and a general lack of access to those potential picks. Fans across the board seem to be in this waiting period. You know, we don't have that personal connection to a lot of those prospects in the top round, just because with the pandemic being the way it is, there's this less access, and all we have now are these Zoom interviews from all of these random YouTube channels. So, of course, the general hype has been suppressed. And look, I don't think I can wait for it to end, and I think most fans are really looking forward to April 29th. And for the Dolphins specifically, the 2021 draft poses a unique opportunity. In the entire scope of this rebuild, going back to 2019, 2021, if we were projecting in a very optimistic light, was the year that the franchise should, and yes, I say should, begin to hit their stride. If things go well, 2021 should be the year where the team begins to really show that they're a contender in the league. And look, the picks have been taken. You selected your quarterback. You built a solid defense, and you have a great group of young coaches and assistants. So the 2021 NFL Draft is just an opportunity to add to that mix and supplement the overall areas of need. But exactly what are those specific areas? So, of course, a team can always improve across the board. I don't care if you're the Chiefs. I don't care if you're the Packers. I don't care if you're the damn Buccaneers. You can always improve, and that's the same case for the Dolphins. But for Miami specifically, at this specific juncture, where do they stand? Well, starting at the top, and I don't need to spend too much time on this, but yes, the Dolphins need to add playmakers. And in the passing game, of course, which is why the top area of need is at pass catcher. Miami was hamstrung far too often last season by a lack of high-end talent and overall depth. Yes, they added Will Fuller, but Miami cannot just rely on an injury-prone wideout with high-end potential, yes, but injury-prone wideout who was signed from Houston, along with the returns of Albert Wilson and Allen Hurns and the other guys who are coming back, guys who already showed last year couldn't get the job done. It's just the truth. They need fresh blood at the position. Blood that can help shape the future of the wideout core for the years to come. We need our wide receiver one, our true WR1. Even if we take Kyle Pitts at 6, who is a pass catcher, by the way, Miami should be still looking to add at wide receiver in the rounds right after, be it even in the same round with Rashad Bateman at 18 or with a talented prospect in the second round. There's so many great names this year. Diami Brown from UNC, Elijah Moore from Ole Miss, Rondale Moore from Purdue, and oh boy, Kadarius Toney from Florida. He would be a sexy pickup, no doubt about that. And Rondale Moore too, for that matter. I think he would be a great addition in the slot for Miami. Moving on, the next position of need, aside from pass catcher, of course, to target in the draft is edge. And I know, I have said that the linebacker position is huge, and Miami does get a steal. They should go for it. Look, in terms of value and where you find pass rushers, though, the draft is prime, because this is where you find those guys for the cheap, long term. And if they turn into those premier pass rushers, you hit the jackpot. And if they're able to nab someone at 18 or find a contributing pass rusher in the middle rounds, then it's only going to help to bolster the pass rush. And that's a part of this team which needs a whole lot of bolstering. I think we all saw that last year. Currently, Miami has a deep and talented secondary, but they don't have guys who can get to the quarterback one-on-one. Straight up, in a 4-man organic pressure situation, Miami struggles to create that organic pressure. And listen, everyone's going to get a chance to make plays on errant throws from opposing quarterbacks under duress, but Miami was not able to create that duress all of last season. And the only times they were able to create those errant throws, we saw in the Jared Goff. Jared Goff do that a lot against the Rams, Jimmy Garoppolo. It was when Miami sent blitz or did some stunts. They had to get creative. So if they're able to find a dynamic pass rusher, and for example, as Finn Maniac suggested on our Q&A episode a couple days ago, Joe Tryon out of Washington would not be a bad idea. So the team needs to help find additions to pass rush, not only to help with Emmanuel Ogbah, getting a breath so he's not our only reliable pass rusher. Remember, we gave up Kyle Van Noy and Shaq Lawson, so the team is in need at that position. The next position, linebacker. Miami needs more depth. There's no doubt there. They left Kyle Van Noy. They let him go right out the door and haven't found a complete replacement yet. Yes, Benardrick McKinney is a solid addition to the team. His ability to diagnose running plays and plug the hole is top tier in the league. He has that instinct and ability to find out and sniff out running plays very early on and just hit the hole and plug it up. So it's no doubt an asset. But as we've said before, the Dolphins could benefit from a true 3-down linebacker, someone who can contribute in run defense, pick up tight ends and running backs in the passing game, and they can also be left on the field in crucial down and distances. A Zaven Collins or hell, Micah Parsons if the cards play out right and he manages to fall. Hopefully that social stuff regarding him being a bully really hurts his stock and you can pick him up at 18. That would be a steal. 6, a little too high, but someone like Micah Parsons or even a linebacker in the later rounds. Realistically, that's where the position is going to be addressed, in the middle rounds. And expect Chris Grier to find a developmental guy, twitchy, athletic, someone who can be coached up and eventually contribute significantly in a couple of years. Long-term building, a long-term approach to building your roster, and that's what we like to see. The next position of need is, of course, running back. As we touched on earlier in previous episodes of the pod, the team needs to add playmakers. We touched on that earlier in the show. And as great as Myles Gaskin was, we could use some more artillery at the position. Miami needs a bruiser. Look, honestly, someone who can run it up between the tackles and fall forward in short distance situations, not get pushed back, but make that, that run that gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, get me 2 yards. And that 2-yard run, get me 4. Right now, we're just happy to get in 2 or 3 yard chunks every time our offensive line is unable to get any push. So think Jordan Howard, right? But with spark and explosion. Look, happy for Jordan Howard, by the way. He re-signed with Philly, so good on him. But Miami could address the spot running back anywhere from 36 with Javonte Williams, if Najee Harris falls, Travis Etienne, all the way down to the 5th or 6th round, even later. But they're going to take someone in that range for sure. Remember, the Dolphins' new co-offensive coordinator is Eric Stoodsville, former running backs coach. So he's going to want to make his stamp on this offense and find a guy who represents his style of play, the way he wants to run the ball. I don't know if he got full access to the roster and those decisions over the last couple of years where his guy and the guy he wanted was on this team. And now that he's at the co-offensive coordinator position, he has a lot more sway. So whoever we do take is someone that he signed off on. Next up, the offensive line. Some would argue that this position group should be higher, but I stand by this. Look, the team took 3 significant contributing starters in last year's draft: Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, and Solomon Kindley. And if you have any faith in your scouting, drafting, and overall development, then these guys should improve. If they can step up and become serious contributors on the offensive line, improve, develop with a true offseason after having a year in the trenches at the NFL level, then you can expect good things for the team this coming season if that development does hit. Regardless, though, they should still look to add depth at the swing tackle position. Miami's lacking there, as well as at center. By far the biggest position of need. Yes, Miami signed Matt Skura after letting Ted Karras go back to be a backup in New England because they brought back David Andrews. But I don't know if Matt Skura is definitely the answer. And at the very least, you want to bring a guy who you can rely on in case things don't go well. For example, a guy like Landon Dickerson in the 2nd round would be ideal for Miami. Comfortability with Tua. Landon Dickerson has that coming out of Alabama, and a formerly very high-end prospect, potential first-round pick who has fallen down the board due to a college injury, but I would expect Chris Grier to be all over that value if he does fall. Landon Dickerson. And wrapping up the needs for this team, we're going to talk secondary. And no, the Dolphins don't need significant help at the position right now, the overall secondary. And as we've spoken about before on the PhinsPod, Miami has Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Bobby McCain, Eric Rowe, hell, Nick Needham, and even developing Noah Igbenogany. And other bright corners who Brian Flores has shown he can bring up and develop and bring the best out of. Yes, of course, Miami can always improve and add depth. And the reason that the secondary does make an appearance on this list, it's simple. They're the backbone of the Miami Dolphins and Brian Flores' defense. You can never have enough DBs. So don't be shocked if the team decided to nab one in the second or third round if the right guy is there. Specifically, most likely a free safety, someone good in coverage, but is more on that safety end. That's where I would expect Miami to go if they do take a defensive back early in the draft. Unless, of course, a corner of very high value seems to fall their way, even at 36. Then Miami, of course, probably would be hard-pressed to pass that guy up. And look, if Flo feels like the guy that they take can be a fit and a contributing force for this team, then yeah, they're going to take him. And Miami could also look at the defensive tackle position or specialist positions, but I think they're set at those positions right now. I mean, they have options in the return game if we're talking special teams, and I think we all know that they're set at kicker. They let go of Matt Hawk at punter specifically, who defected and joined the Buffalo Bills. And listen, his weak leg won't last up there. He shanked far too many punts in the warm, beautiful weather of Miami. I don't know how he's going to do up in Buffalo. Miami did decide to sign Michael Pilardi to replace him, formerly of the Panthers. He missed last season due to an injury, but when he was on the Panthers, he showed some promise. But hey, if the Dolphins identify a strong-legged punter, someone they want to take a shot on, someone they can get for the cheap as well in the 6th round for a few years on a rookie contract, pull the damn trigger. I trust this scouting department. I mean, look, they took Blake Ferguson, our stud long snapper, out of LSU in the 6th. And as much as I love Blake, I think even he would agree that a punter would be equally deserving of a pick at that spot if a long snapper could go there too. So if Miami feels like they can find a guy of value there, why the hell wouldn't you take a punter when right now all you have is Michael Pilardi, and you definitely want to have a little bit of competition. But hey, we shall see. We're not going to get too much in the weeds in the special teams department. But that's it for us here. Hopefully you guys have a better overall sense of Miami's needs and the order of which that they should be addressed. Let us know if you agree, disagree, or where you think we may have been a little too blasé. Maybe we forgot something that you got. Like, what the hell, Moose? How could you forget Miami needs blank? Let us know. Hey, I'm just a fan too, so I might be missing some things. And as always, we always love hearing from you all.
Now, here's the thing. Who in the hell is saying Tua sorry when literally he should have walked into the NFL with the most equity maybe of any college quarterback ever? Why? Because he was the most efficient quarterback ever in college football history, hands down. But more so, maybe top 5 statistically in terms of what he was able to do on the field. Now, you don't think that Tua is in a position to succeed? Yes, he is. Why? He's 6-3 as a starter. What does that mean? Since Dak Prescott, any quarterback with at least 8 starts, no one's had a better rookie season than Tua. Okay, yeah, I don't want to go there. That's too sorry. How about this? Why y'all trusting the court of public opinion? And why y'all trusting the Miami Dolphins to tell y'all which way is up in terms of a quarterback assessment or any player assessment? I remind you, the Dolphins have had 22 different starting quarterbacks since 2000. Marino's last season was 99. I remind you that they have not had a quarterback selected to the Pro Bowl since 95. I remind you that they told me Ryan Tannehill was sorry. Which way is up, Miami? They told me Kenyon Drake was sorry. Jarvis Landry wasn't so good. Okay. How about Wes Welker? Y'all even forgot about Wes Welker? Like, stop. Miami is just like a diving board. Like you jump, spring up in the air, and splash into some greatness. Because Miami right now, the same Miami Dolphins that in the last 15 years have had 3 winning seasons. And if you take away Tua's winning season last year, 2 in the last 14 years. Come on, big dog. Stop shooting that to her, especially with nonsense.
That's going to do it for us here today. Thank you all so much for listening to the PhinsPod. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're listening via audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else, thank you so much. The pod is literally all you guys. So if you're listening on the way to work, at the gym, wherever, thank you so much. Leave a review as well to help other Fins fans find the show. And please remember to like the video if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe just so you never miss a chance to chat about your Miami Dolphins. And remember that the PhinsPod, of course, as I mentioned before, available on all audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google Pods, and of course here on YouTube. Continue the conversation with us over on Twitter and Instagram at PhinsPod. Check out our TikTok as well at PhinsPod. Our guys are producing awesome shit over there. So TikTok at PhinsPod if you're into that. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Until next time, stay safe. Love y'all.